you guys? It's February 28th, 12:30 p.m. This is Cameron Edwards checking in today, and I am going to be discussing with you mass incarceration in the United States. I feel like it's an issue that is not talked about a lot, and I guess people don't really care about it until they have a loved one that gets incarcerated or they get incarcerated. But why is there mass incarceration in the United States versus other countries? So let's just get right into it.
Start with the population of the United States versus the rest of the world. So, the United States only makes up 5% of the entire world's population, but we make up 22% of the world's prison population. So that is an alarming number. We're not that much of the world's population, but we have more of the world's prison population. We almost have a fourth of the world's prison population. Almost a fourth of the world's prison population, but we're only 5% of the whole population in the world. Another statistic that may be alarming to you is more than 2 million people are incarcerated in the United States. That includes locals in county jails. And 1 in 3 black men in the United States will go to prison or jail if current trends continue. And the average of 5 million people are under state, federal supervision in the form of probation or parole. Now, moving on to some other statistics, just comparing us to other countries. 478 out of 100,000 people are incarcerated. Well, that was 2013. And then 2015-16, it was like 600 or 700 of every 100,000 people. Versus European countries, Australia, Japan, 130 to 100,000. So we're having almost 3 times as many people incarcerated here in the United States. And my question again to you, is it that the United States are we that violent, or are we just that bad in the United States? You can't convince me that the United States is just so much worse than every other country. I'm not buying that. I'm not. But these are just some numbers that I just wanted to present to you guys, because maybe they've never been presented to you and maybe you just don't care. Other alarming statistics can kind of be directly correlated with our school system. So our school systems have adapted this zero tolerance disciplinary action thing, where basically if you get in trouble, their form of disciplinary action is just to expel or suspend you, take you away from being educated. And lots of times it's really hard for these kids to get back in school. And it's kind of just like a school to prison pipeline. And those same kids end up in our prison systems. And the biggest thing that I need people to understand is we need to work on disciplining our kids and preparing them to go out on their own. And as far as the jails, our jails should be focusing on rehabilitation of our citizens so they can come back as law-abiding and productive citizens. But basically, with the school system, discrimination in the school discipline contributes to disparities in the incarceration rates, with African Americans compromising only 12% of the African Americans in the United States and 44% of them
actually make up the prison population. So that's also something to think about. African Americans only make up 12% of the population, but 44% of the prison population are African American. And finally, incarceration triggers a cascade of imperiled events. Imperiled rights. And basically what happens is when these people are released from prison, they are denied housing, they are denied work, they can't find food, they can't find shelter. And it kind of just leads to a spiral of events back into our situation. If we're going to release these prisoners, if we're going to try to rehabilitate them to law-abiding citizens, when they come back into the world, there needs to be some type of something to bridge the gap so that when they come back into society, we're not sending them back to the same place they came from. They've done their time. They do years and years in prison, months and months, days and days, whatever the case may be, but they end up in the same place. And this is just for your thoughts. And I mean, I do believe that I have personally experienced someone being incarcerated, and my views on incarceration have changed because I have seen how the system works, and it's not just. It's not. And every person who's in prison is not a bad person. I will say that. But this was just an informative video just to give you guys some facts about, things that are going on, and maybe to inform you of something maybe you didn't know. And again, this is not condoning criminal activity, but just raising awareness that something's going on here. I just want people to be able to see the numbers and make their own judgment and do their own research. But thank you so much for watching this video. Comment below so I can hear what you guys think about this. And also subscribe to my channel. This is Cameron checking out, and hope to see you guys next time.